morning. Mike Mullin from MikeMullin.net. On the way to Pocono Raceway Sunday morning. Kyle Busch is on the pole. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is right behind him. See what Dale Earnhardt Jr. can do. Been a while since he won a race. In fact, it's been almost 2 years exactly. Michigan weekend, June of 2008. But today, what we're trying to beat is the weather. Pocono in June, rain. I think we may escape it this time. The trouble is, the race is going to last about 4 hours, and the track takes time to dry, and if it rains a little bit, it might be a long day. But we're ready for it. Kyle Busch, Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch has a good record here. Kyle Busch doesn't. Maybe he can turn things around. He's fired up. Denny Hamlin's got him fired up. His old teammate. Remember that run-in the All-Star race? Bang, bang, bang. Whoa. I think that really lit a fire under Kyle. Especially when Denny said, somebody's got to be the leader of this team, and I guess it's going to be me, because it sure ain't going to be Kyle. Kyle took that to heart, I think. And you saw how Kyle did in the All-Star race, and how Kyle did in the 600. Kyle's been good lately. And Jimmy Johnson, well, I don't know where he is right now. Went to Watkins Glen Friday, went here, went back to Watkins Glen, supposed to be back here. We'll see how he did up there. He's trying to do some sports car racing on road courses to get ready for Sonoma and the Cup race at the Glen. That's what he wants to add to his resume. He wants to win a road race. Gosh, the guy wants to win everything, if you ask me. But the last couple of weeks, we were asking him, what the heck went wrong with Jimmy Johnson? Mistake after mistake after mistake. Hey, just a bunch of bad luck, he says. But right now, he's only going to take what the car's going to give him. He's not going to try and squeeze out another spot or two like he was doing in the 600 when he got into Denny Hamlin and just messed up both their chances to win down there. Pocono, things to look for today. That new rear spoiler and the Ford engine. The FR9, it's going to be in Greg Biffle's car. He's going to show some power there. Matt Kenseth, he might show some gas mileage. This could be a gas mileage race. Remember, that's how Carl Edwards and Tony Stewart went at each other last summer here. They kept slower and going slower and slower and slower and slower until finally Tony outslowed Kyle and won the race. Just barely. I hope it's not a gas mileage race. They're kind of boring sometimes. Front straightaway, longest front straightaway in NASCAR, and what we've got is a new rear spoiler. It's a real draggy spoiler. So, do you try to hide the spoiler, get it down low so you can go faster on the front straightaway? The third turn leading on the front straightaway is one of those slow turns, not quite as slow as Martinsville, but it's pretty slow. And then you go down this huge long front straightaway where there's a lot of drafting and slingshotting and stuff like that. Those restarts are going to be something to watch side by side. It's been a year since they did those things, and the drivers say it makes all the difference in the world. They could be 4 wide coming into 3 on that first lap after a restart. That's not that wide out there. Somebody's going to be in the wall or in the grass. They got softballs on the outside. Fortunately, they're going to add softballs to the inside by the next year up here, which is sorely needed improvement. Remember Davey Allison's crash over there in the short chute going into 3 a couple years ago? Yep, I think they need some softballs around here. And going into the first turn, the thing is, I think you're going to need all the spoiler you got, because that's a fast first turn, even if it's a slower turn than your other guys are doing. So you're going to want all the spoiler you have so you can make that corner, which means that the first turn could be where the race is won or lost, assuming it's not gas mileage. New rear spoiler, more drag, better handling in the corners. The new Ford engine should help in the corners too. It's designed to be cooler so you don't have to run as much tape on the nose, which means you have a little more downforce on the nose, which means the car turns better. We should find that out real quickly. Casey Kane's got the old motor. 4 guys, AJ Allmendinger, Greg Biffle, Matt Kenseth, and Carl Edwards all have the new motor. And next week at Michigan, all the 4 teams are going to have their new motor. And from then on, it's going to be like hit and miss for a couple of weeks, and then in about 2 months, everybody should be running the new motor. Be interesting to see if how that thing stacks up to the Toyotas and Chevrolets and Dodges, who all have had new engine designs since the last Ford new engine design. In fact, Doug Yates was saying that this new Ford engine, the FR9, is the first time they've actually had a true Ford racing engine. Now, I might beg to differ, because I remember when his father, Robert, was making some really good engines with the old 351, which was, I remember in '69, a racing engine. They just happened to put it in a street car every now and then. So he's stretching a point on that, but it is a brand new design. Jack Roush says all the parts inside, except for the spark plugs, are different. And that's been one of the problems. All new parts means you've got to go all around the world to find all these pieces, to put them together, cast new blocks. Said a couple of blocks were leaking, so they had to send the whole shipment back or something like that, and had to fix things up and get new shipments in. Putting together a whole new engine, they got the blueprint down pretty well, I think. It's all the construction and production and all that sort of stuff that's going to be the issue. If it works, hey, should be an improvement. I don't know how much of a horsepower improvement it's going to be, or how much of a gas mileage improvement it should be, or how much of any kind of improvement it should be. It may just be easier to work on. That was one of the things that General Motors people wanted with their new engine, was just to make it easier on the engine builders, because they were having to shove stuff here and pull stuff out there and do all sorts of intricate production work just to build an engine. Makes it simpler. Hey, the Chevrolet's looking pretty strong right now. In fact, out here this afternoon, Jimmy Johnson's looking tough too. He was fastest in Saturday practice before he jumped in the plane and flew up to Watkins Glen. See what he can do? If he can just not make any mistakes. And I'll tell you one thing here, if this is a gas mileage race, you don't want to run out of gas at this place. This is the worst place in the circuit to run out of gas, because it's a long, slow walk back to the garage area. So expect people to be short bidding early, see what kind of gas mileage they got. Some people might run out, but only at the end of the race, not during the race. Last few laps could be a zinger, especially with these green-white checkers and stuff like that. They got triple green-white checkers. Remember, this is one of those places where the fans got a little upset at NASCAR for some of the finishes they had, and that's why we've got some of the rules we've got. Should be a good race out here today. If we can beat the rain. Mike Mullen for MikeMullen.net. Sunday morning on the road to Pocono.